All right. So we're going to be looking at the Sega CD version of Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat 1. Let's check it out. Now, I never owned this version of the game. Primarily, my true sort of like amount of time sink for Mortal Kombat was on the Sega Mega Drive with Mortal Kombat 1 and Mortal Kombat 2. And obviously, they did a Sega CD version, right, of MK1, just like how they did a 32X version of MK2. But I wanted to showcase this one, obviously, because it's kind of a mixed bag. Like, you know, like it's kind of a mixed bag. The cheat still works. You can still get in there with the cheats enabled. It actually shows you what the different flags are down here as well. Win 1 on and off, win 2, moon, dads, where it makes like dad names for the characters. Green, I think, is the reptile stuff, different lives, on or off, or infinite lives, I'm assuming. Flag 6 and then turbo. You can also turn the cheat on or off as well, blood on or off as well. Okay, and it even changes the text there, and that's fine, right? But it's an interesting version, so let's jump in. So what is scrapped is all of the Mega Drive / Genesis music. There's no way to access it at all, right? We only have these versions. Now, they've obviously made some amendments here. Obviously, Sub-Zero has his proper stance instead of just mirroring Scorpion's stance. But what you've noticed too is that they're using the arcade music in the game, right? So we don't have the awesome Mega Drive Genesis soundtrack that we did have. And it kind of sucks. Not saying that the arcade music doesn't suck. What I'm saying, though, is that visually, I'm looking at the Mega Drive version. Visually, and then audio-wise, I'm going, oh, I'm waiting for the music from the Mega Drive version. So it's kind of jarring because we've got the arcade like music in there and whatnot. Also, because it's CD based, there's loading, so it comes up a little loading screen, prepare to fight, right, which is fine. But when you look at this visually, okay, it looks like just the Mega Drive version, right? Just with arcade music. Okay, there's obviously a little bit more blood. When it goes round, like when it goes fight, you'll notice it kind of has this weird kind of zooming in and out effect to it. The text is obviously crisper, okay, which is groovy in itself. But it's kind of, yeah, it just kind of throws me a little bit, right? There's no sort of like, it's still the same sort of background that we get with the Mega Drive version as well. It's essentially just, and there's a slight pause before you do fatality, obviously because the CD is loading. It's essentially just the Mega Drive version with arcade music and some sound effects, and of course, obviously the voice announcers as well when they win and whatnot, which is great. Like it's good, but I miss the Mega Drive music. I'm not gonna lie, I miss it. I won't lie. So, and it's kind of, yeah, it's a very slight upgrade. Like, it's a very, very slight upgrade in that regard, because visually it doesn't look that much different at all. Really, it's still got the same 16-bit look as the Genesis Mega Drive version has, and that's fine. It's just, it doesn't, like you think, oh, okay, we're getting like the 32X version. Like the 32X version, you kind of did notice some differences between Mortal Kombat 2 on the Mega Drive and then the 32X version visually. But this was yeah, it was a real, yeah, it kind of throws me a little bit, right? Now, for those that wanted like the arcade music, like that's obviously that's up your alley, right? That you're going to be very happy with that. Because you actually get that in there, as well as some additional sound cues. The name, like you know, when you choose your character, it says Scorpion, or Scorpion wins, you know, that sort of thing. Right? But visually, right, it's the Mega Drive Genesis version. right? So it kind of throws me for a bit. Obviously some things are, like I said, like the text is obviously crisper, a lot clearer to read. So it's kind of, it really does throw me. It really does throw me. And of course, like when it goes fight, it has this weird angle that it zooms out at as well. You know, almost, you know what it reminds me of? Almost like somebody's done like an early days hack mod for MK1 and gone, all right, we're just going to give you the arcade music and some sound effects and stuff like that. Make it sound more like the arcade. But because we already got like all the fatalities and everything like that, completely uncensored, then, you know, it like, I don't really, like, I don't feel like this is like a massive upgrade. I'm glad it exists because it's Mortal Kombat, right? It's another version of Mortal Kombat. But it definitely, it's hard to, I don't know, maybe you guys don't, I don't know if I'm explaining this right, but it kind of just throws me a little bit for a loop, you know? Because I figured that because we're getting all the additional arcade sounds and stuff, that we'd be getting in some visual, you know, some visual upgrades as well. And we definitely didn't. Not to the degree I thought we would anyway. But like I said, like I never owned this back in the day, you know, and the only one that I played religiously in terms of like the MK1 era was the Sega Mega Drive Genesis version. And so I obviously feel very critical, you know, with comparing them. So yeah, it's just, yeah, I mean, it's a good version. Like it's good. It'd be like it'd almost be like, okay, do you want Mortal Kombat 1 on the Sega to have either arcade music or its own custom soundtrack, right? Because it doesn't even have that cool, like the cool loading music up that the Genesis and Mega Drive version has. It doesn't have that at all. Here we go. Looks like there might be a little bit more blood on the spikes and stuff like that as well. But it just, like, if you turn the audio off, right, people would probably go, oh, okay, yeah, this is probably the first glance Mega Drive version, right? And I know I'm harping on about it, but like the Mega Drive Genesis version was my jam, bro, right? And I just recently reviewed it on the channel. So you can go do sort of like a direct comparison with that as well. But there are some niceties, obviously. If you want the arcade music, you get that in there. Like I said, Sub-Zero obviously has his stance properly corrected as well, which is very cool. Because obviously there's a lot more sort of that they could, you know, a lot more space they could work. Oh, that was a weird glitch. I should have been frozen on that roundhouse, but I wasn't. Now too, obviously we get Shang Tsung clapping in the background, which is nice. They didn't have that in the Mega Drive version, so that's cool. I think there's definitely like a little bit more color, for sure. And he obviously turns his head. Yeah, he's turning his head there as well. It looked like there's a little bit of like parallax with the throne as well compared to the background. So yeah, so there are some niceties that they've added in just to get a little bit more of a, you know, more of the arcade experience, if you will. Look at, he's like, he says this. Fatality. But yeah, otherwise, like, and I know I'm being picky, right? And I get that. It's a great version, don't get me wrong. It's a great version. You know, like, obviously, without the direct comparison, it's sort of, and I don't think it says fight. It didn't say fight, did it? It just had the what what do you call it? The gong sound. And it's fluid. Like, I mean, I find the Mega Drive Genesis version very fluid as well. This is also very fluid. I think the character sprites might be bigger. I'm not sure. They might be slightly bigger with some slight more animations to them as well. Yeah, it's not saying fight. Huh. Yeah, it's not saying fight. Huh. How about that? That is interesting. Yeah, and there's some slight sort of sound cutting in it. This is why I say, like, this what feels like, say, like when people started doing some really good, like, started working on like hack ROMs, you know, stuff like that. This is what it feels like. It feels like somebody's taken the Genesis version, put it onto a CD, and then added some extra stuff in as best they can. That's what kind of what it feels like. It's kind of what it feels like. But yeah, it's good. There's a good version, right? But yeah, I definitely. It's even got the terrible. It's still got the terrible Scorpion. Baby poo color, baby poo green. No pushback on the harpoon either. That's something I noticed in the arcade. When you're a certain close distance and you throw the harpoon, it actually knocks them back. Yeah, I really like that. Because it shows how powerful the move is. You know, that he's throwing it with such force that it's actually, like, you know, doing that. So anyway, I'll leave it there. Let me know what you guys think of the Sega CD version of Mortal Kombat 1. Like I said, it's a very solid version. It just kind of feels, you know, like I'm missing some of the stuff in the Mega Drive, to be perfectly honest. I am, which is kind of really strange. But anyway, I'll leave it there. Let me know what you guys think. And I will, yeah, I'll catch you guys next time. See you later.